Some say that success, one measure of success, is the amount of uncomfortable conversations that somebody has. So let's have an uncomfortable conversation. I want to touch on those with compromised immune systems and the elderly, as this virus clearly targets those groups. We all know that most people with a compromised immune system, the vast majority, have done this themselves through poor nutrition, poor living, drinking, smoking, and such. It's obvious. Most people with a compromised immune systems have destroyed their own immune systems, and that doesn't happen in nature. As per the elderly, most of the elderly are set in their ways. And unless these ways are in alignment with radical environmentalism, then let's look at the other extreme, which is set in ways that are in alignment with radical political, religious, or racial hatred, dogma. That's untenable moving into the future, and nature won't tolerate it. The evolution of our society won't tolerate it. And so, for those who are set in ways of poor health and destruction of themselves or destructive psychology and dogma, that's not going to move into the future. Animals don't walk around with compromised immune systems for long. And there's a difference between life extension and anti-aging and life support. Look in nature. Animals live as long as they can function properly as the species that they are. As long as they are still able to thrive and function, it's all good. And as soon as they're not, it's over. And that's natural. It makes a lot of sense and it's fine. So take yourself, take your loved one out of it. Let's just look at this for what it is. If you're walking around with a compromised immune system, or if you're in somewhere between Homer Simpson and Archie Bunker mode in terms of ignorance or hatred, blaming everything on somebody else, religious, political, and racial hatred that's antiquated, then you got to go. It's just time to go. The shift that's happening now is not going to tolerate the antiquated systems, and it needs to be cleaned and retuned. And there just will not be room for anything other than a oneness. We are all one. People talk about, hippies talk about, we're all one. And as soon as they hear the concept of the New World Order, the One World Order, they recoil and go nuts. But if you really think about it, as a global civilization, we must begin to identify ourselves as one. And the three main control religions and some of these others, we're all praying to the same source energy. And so religious differences that play themselves out in violence and separation will end. That will come to a halt. It will end. The Agenda 21 outlines a new religion for the New World Order. Google it, check it out. The trajectory of things is based on a expression of spiritual values through our relationship with nature, with Mother Earth. Our economy will be based on resources, a resource-based economy, based on the amount of resources on Earth and what that can realistically support, not a overexpansion and borrowing from what we don't have into a destructive future. That's over. The system as you know it is failing. The matrix as you know it, it's imploding. It's going to be a new system. Like Ralph Smart says, the global reset button has been pushed, and there's no going back on that. The future, however dark and dystopian and full of control and surveillance, whatever you want to look at these things, the future also holds an extreme environmentalism, an extreme balance with nature. We've only been borrowing from nature for a few hundred years here, and The elect class that really runs things knows this, and nature will rewild itself fast. Nature will rewild itself fast. The suburban sprawl is over. The white trash backyard junkyards is over. The bubblicious and hubba bubba factories are definitely unessential businesses. People are rethinking their relationships to sustainability, whether they like it or not. They've actually had to look at this at gunpoint, basically, because we are at that point where we're out ahead and things cannot move forward in this direction. And so again, those with a compromised immune system are a result of this lifestyle that we collectively, have participated in. We're collectively complicit. And the elderly, bless their souls, unless they are ready for a radical realignment with this new way, are just quantifiably in a different direction that is not sustainable. This is quantifiable. It's just not personal. If you are set in ways where you are willing to support bloodshed for your religion, politics, or race, then you must go. There's not really a different way to look at it. Nature doesn't support non-hackers. Nature doesn't support sloppy bullshit. Nature doesn't support ignorance. And in this age of information, the ignorance of the masses will no longer be tolerated. You can take it and run with it. You can take it how you want to take it. I'm really not here to make friends. The truth will push to the front. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.